Well, it may sound familiar, a hazardous waste company applying for a permit to build a new facility. People who live in the area say no way, but outside St Gabriel tonight, those residents are matching their protests with their feet. WAFB's George Caldwell standing by live at the New Jerusalem Church with this live report.
Well, we've got a group of people out here who are not real happy. Supplemental Fuels Incorporated is the name of a company out of Memphis, Tennessee that is looking to build a hazardous waste retooling plant. It's a treatment plant, not really a recycling plant, so folks say here. And they're going to build it right in this area, which already has a lot of plants along, a lot of different chemical plants along the river. You know, you walk through here, you see quite a few folks. They're all coming out here. They're going to do a march down to the plant, kind of a candlelight vigil sort of thing. I'd say about 50 people in the area right now, and they're looking to have over 100 before they get going later on tonight. Now, one of their complaints is the fact that they weren't notified that this was going to happen until not real far in advance of the first meetings with the Department of Environmental Quality over the subject, and they say that they're making up for lost time on that issue. This was the scene in May when Supplemental Fuels had a meeting before the Department of Environmental Quality. Today the protests aren't as vocal, but you barely pass a yard in St Gabriel without one of these anti-SFI signs. They seem to be everywhere. And as the project moves forward, residents are getting more angry and more nervous.
It's a one-way street in and the same street back out. If they have some kind of disaster, explosion, or spill, all these people would be trapped around in this area.
Meanwhile, the local police jury has heard these protesters, and they're mad too. They say DEQ didn't listen when the jury opposed the plant.
Before they even read the report that they asked the jury to turn in, the next day, which was a Wednesday, they had gave SFI the draft permit.
But DEQ says the technical issues take up the early part of the process, and that comments from the public will bear equal weight. They also insist the SFI plant has some positive elements.
We do encourage reuse of hazardous waste. We encourage recycling of hazardous waste, and we're certainly for reclamation for energy recovery. And those are very environmentally sound mechanisms that are used by the industries today.
Okay, now they say it's a recycling thing, the DEQ folks do. Now, we've got some people here who say they've looked up the regulations with the national environmental groups, and they say that it is not a recycling program that they're going to have with SFI. But for the time being, it's just a matter of people speaking up. They're going to have a public hearing on this issue on August 6th, and that should go a long way in determining what's going to happen. We hear from the Department of Environmental Quality that Kai Midbo will make the final decision, and that should come sometime this fall. George, Donna?
Okay, thanks very much, George Caldwell. And the march comes tonight, beginning at the New Jerusalem Church down at St Gabriel.